Hey everyone, I just wanted to let you guys know Pokemon Go updated to version 0.35 for Android and 1.5 for iOS last night, and I just wanted to go over the different changes that they made. As you can see, there are 3 different changes that they released. One of the minor things that they released was minor bot fixes. I think that's a way of Niantic telling botters that they are going still after them and that they have been banning botters. If you read the forums, there's a lot of banning waves, so if you're using bots and if you're using GPS spoofers, just be cautious. Right now, you don't know the climate of what Niantic's trying to do, and given their past history with their previous game, they will be going after those people. And you know, I don't judge whether you use bots or spoofers. In the end, we're just trying to collect them all, but just be cautious about what you use. Next update is we're still working hard on several new and exciting features, so just a line saying that they're still working on new stuff. It wasn't probably necessary for them to add this line, but as we all know from the rumors, there's trading is coming up pretty soon, and different features are just in the works right now. But the most important thing that they released was definitely the Pokemon Appraisal system. So now you're able to actually put your gym leaders to work and they can actually do something for you. They're not just the pretty faces or poster childs anymore. So what does this mean? That the gym leaders can now determine your Pokemon and how powerful they are for battle. And let me show you right here. As you can see, Bulby is right here, as usual. And we're gonna go right here. And now there's a new feature right here, Appraisal. The second you hit Appraisal, my gym leader Blanche is here, and serious as always. She's saying that she's available to analyze, and we analyze our Bulby. She said it's a breathtaking Pokemon. Whoa, Bulby must be really good. I see that the best attribute is attack, which is pretty good. That's what I wanted him to be. Its stats exceed my calculations. It's incredible. And yeah, she just finishes her analysis. Let me check out one more. Check out another one. Sure, ask for permission. What a breathtaking one. Man, Blanche, calm down. There's viewers here, come on. So apparently Blanche is really interested in my Pokemon. So yeah, it gives you an idea of what your Pokemon is and how good it is for battle, but let me get into the more detailed understanding of what this means for you guys and how to use this system to select your Pokemon. So the different things that the team leaders tell you is actually a sign of something called IVs. IVs are individual values, and unfortunately I'm gonna have to make another video just on that, but IVs, think of them as hidden stats to different stats like attack, defense, and stamina. And each Pokemon has their own unique hidden stats, ranging from 0 to 15. So each one of these stats can range to 15, meaning you can have Pokemon that have hidden perfect stats that are 15, 15, and 15. Or you can also have Pokemon that have really bad stats, which is 0, 0, and 0. Or you can have medium, which is 7, 7, and 7. What this means for you right now is that the closer they are to 15, 15, 15, the closer a percentage is to that basically tells you how close in IVs it is to perfection. 100% means that it has perfect IVs, obviously. 80% means it's almost close to perfect IVs. But why do these percentages matter? Well, what the gym leaders are telling you in their different phrases actually equates to a percentage range that they can be in. So, for example, let me say if your Pokemon has an IV range of 82.2% to 100%, your gym leader will say the following thing. For Blanche, it's gonna be overall your Pokemon is a wonder. What a breathtaking Pokemon. If you're in Candela's team, it says overall your Pokemon is simply amazes me. It can accomplish anything. And if you're on Spark's team, he says overall your Pokemon looks like it can really battle with the best of them. So that means that if you get any of those messages, that means your Pokemon's IV percentage is basically at 82.2% to 100%. That means if you get that message for any of your Pokemon, keep that Pokemon. That is a really good Pokemon. Its IVs are really strong. Its moveset might not be the best, but as far as stats, it's one of the best ones. So if you get that message for any of these, keep that one, please. Don't throw it away. The next message that you could get ranges from the percentage range is actually 66.7% to 80%, meaning these are below the, I guess, the great Pokemon, and you'll get these different messages. Blanche will say, overall your Pokemon name has certainly caught my attention, so she doesn't seem that thrilled anymore. And then Candela will say, overall your Pokemon is a strong Pokemon, you should be proud. And Spark, of course, he'll say, overall your Pokemon is really strong. So, like I said again, that's for a range from 66.7% to 80%. Meaning it's strong, but it's not the strongest. I personally would hold out and wait for a Pokemon that's in the 82.2% range to 100%. Those are really strong Pokemon. 66.7 to 80%, it's just okay. But if you get the following messages, really reconsider leveling up that Pokemon and spending your hard-earned Stardust on these Pokemon, which are the following. This range is from 51.1% to 64.4%. And Blanche says, overall, your Pokemon is above average. And Candela will tell you, overall, your Pokemon is a decent Pokemon. And Spark will say, overall, your Pokemon is pretty decent. Meaning, if you get these messages, just really avoid leveling that Pokemon any further, unless it really has a really great moveset, but more than likely, you'll be able to find one in the other higher ranges without having to give up a lot of stats. So, primarily, if you start getting this message, really reconsider spending more on that Pokemon. Especially the candy costs. As you guys know, some of those can be really crazy. And as far as the last range, this is the range for Pokemon you do not want to raise unless you really have a soft spot for these Pokemon and you love the underdogs, I guess you could say. So this is a range from 0 to 48.9%. For this range, the gym leaders will say, overall, your Pokemon is not likely to make headway in a battle if you're in Blanche's team. And as far as Candela, she'll say, overall your Pokemon may not be great in battle, but I still like it. So she's very encouraging, unlike Blanche, who's my gym leader. But you gotta be tough to be in Mystic, you know? And Spark, he says, overall your Pokemon has room for improvement as far as battling goes. So he's very encouraging, he's very happy. Even if it's low, he still loves it. That's why a lot of people love Team Instinct, is the team leader is really good. So, or not good, he's just really nice. So, anyways, this is the range that you don't want to keep the Pokemon in. This is the candy range, to be honest. If you have a Pokemon in this range, just make them out to be candy, and it'll be really better used to send over to the professor and use it for a stronger Pokemon. But like I said, these ranges are up to you to decide if you like them. Don't just keep a certain Pokemon just because it's better. But personally for me, I would always aim for the 66.7% range all the way up to 100 range. That's a really good percentage for me. Anything lower than that, you just have to be really cautious about what you do. The second thing that the gym leader mentions is actually one of their stats or attributes. This could be HP, attack, or defense. So they'll tell you that the best stat that it has and give a commentary right after about that stat. Sometimes if you're fortunate, they'll list off the attack, HP, or defense if they're actually equal. So you can have all three listed as being equally as strong as the main stat, meaning all your stats would be identical. But sometimes it's just attack and HP, attack and defense, or sometimes just attack by itself. It just depends. So the comment that they say after actually does have significance though. And this is what we got from the research that's been done. as far as in a situation where you have perfect IVs for one of the stats, meaning you have plus 15 on one of the stats, they'll list out the strongest stat and they'll also say this commentary. Its stats exceed my calculations. It's incredible for Blanche. For Candela, it'll say, I'm blown away by its stats. Wow. And as far as Spark, he'll say, its stats are the best I've ever seen. No doubt about it. So, as you can see, if you get any of these messages, that means that you have one of your stats that are perfect, that are at 15. And it'll list out which one it is. So that's great. And the next commentary they'll say is if your IV stat value is between 13 or 14, and at least one of them. So Blanche will tell you, I'm certainly impressed by the stats, I must say. So she's still impressed. And Candela will say, it's got excellent stats. How exciting. So that's 13 to 14, and Spark will say its stats are really strong, impressive. So 13 to 14, if one of your highest stats is one of them, that's not a bad thing. It just means that you just didn't get a perfect stat for one of them, but your other stats averaged together could be really good still. So don't really take this as a negative. And then they'll say the following if your highest IV is between 8 to 12. Which means that Blanche will say its stats are noticeably trending to the positive, meaning that there's still a lot to grow in. And then Candela will say its stats indicate that in battle it'll get the job done. And Spark will say it's definitely got some good stats, definitely. So what this means really, and Sparks is actually a little bit misleading since it's so positive. You could take this as it being really, really good. But keep in mind, that means that your max stat for that Pokemon is actually between 8 to 12. So 8 to 12, it's above average for sure. But really keep in mind that it could be better, but overall, like I said, these stats, they don't matter if the average of them is good. And the last one is the highest stat is below 8, meaning this is a below average Pokemon stat-wise if the highest stat is below 8. So here's what it says. Blanche will say, its stats are not out of the norm in my opinion. Interesting. Candela says, its stats don't point to greatness in battle. So she tells you pretty straight out. And Spark will tell you its stats are alright, but kinda basic as far as I can see. So what does that mean? That means that if it's less than 8, that's another definite indicator that the Pokemon's IV values or bonus stats are not that great. So in that case, the first message would also have been low too, from my analysis. So meaning if you get this message, it makes sense if the message before it was one of the low ones. But yeah, stat-wise, from this information, the only really thing you can really pick out from it is how to find if your Pokemon actually has perfect stats. So the first thing that you have to get is the message that was from between 82.2% to 100%. That's the first thing that has to happen. Secondly, you have to get that all three of the stats are equal, meaning attack, HP, and defense will be listed out when they talk about it. And the third thing that has to happen is that they have to give the message that I said before if at least one of your stats is perfect. Because then if one of them's perfect and they're all equal, then they're all 15. And if you got the initial message that it was really overall really good, really great, then you have a perfect statted Pokemon. And like I said, perfect statted Pokemon are people that have the best Pokemon that have the best IV values. It doesn't really necessarily mean that they're the best Pokemon. If their moveset is not that good, it could be a struggle even with the perfect Pokemon. But like I said, I'll go over all that stuff in another video, but this really gives us a lot of new ideas about how to really interpret Pokemon. And as far as the last part, I won't really list them out just because they tell you about the size of the Pokemon, and as of this moment, size is not important from the research that's been done. Before, there were little rumors that size meant that the Pokemon, if it was extra small, it could attack faster. If it was extra large, it had more HP. But unfortunately, those things were debunked. And at the moment, we're not sure what size mean. But as you can see, Niantic's really putting our emphasis in this size of the Pokemon. So it may be that there's some hidden features that we do not know about at this moment. Or maybe features that are to come that will actually use these size values in the game. All I can think about is maybe, I don't know, there used to be contests or beauty contests, and these sizes might actually be incorporated into something like that. But like I said, that's all just speculation. But as you know, there's different ones: extra large, large, small, and extra small. And unfortunately, a lot of the trainers or the gym leaders will tell you a lot of different commentaries for sizes. And the community, of course, in Pokemon Go has already started working on some of them, especially Sparks, where he starts talking about stuff being huge, or that Pokemon's a big one, or a little small for its kind, don't you think? Or, whoa, that's the tiniest Pokemon I've ever seen. So, unfortunately, because we could change the name of our Pokemon, a lot of people are doing random stuff with it. Oh my gosh. But anyways, guys, hopefully that helps you understand this Pokemon appraisal system. It definitely is a big step up from not being able to know if your Pokemon was good, but it could definitely be used to determine if you want to level up that Pokemon, or maybe you might want to make it into candy. It definitely is useful for that, and that's what I've been using it since it came out. Since I have a lot of different Pokemon, and as you guys know, I have to catch a ton, and I'm not sure which one to level, and sometimes going to check IVs takes a long time, so this is a quick system for you to check those things. And like I said, there's another video that's coming out regarding this. It's going to be a little bit more detailed, and I'm going to be waiting for that to come out. But as far as this update, that's what we had, and hopefully you learned something. But anyways, that ends it for this video. Take care, and I'll see you guys all next time.